The day is, well, it's now May 13th, 2016. This is my, first formal attempt to start my video blog. Um, I guess I'll just recap the day. Uh, Started off actually really good. So this is like one of the first days where I didn't set an alarm because I just finished, doing a huge assignment in organic chemistry last night. And so I decided that I'd wake up late and got up naturally at about 9:30ish, 10:30, 9:30 or 10:30. I can't remember which one. By the way, normally I don't get up until about noon sometimes, or that had been my history over the past couple semesters here at college. But this time, I actually got up naturally at around 9:30, which felt really nice, and yeah, just got up naturally, and then put on some PJs, just shirt and some my flannels, because today was the day that I cleaned up my room. Yeah, like an adult, successfully adulting. But no, really, it was actually pretty. It started off as a kind of motivate. I was excited to clean up. I was excited to get up and to clean the room, but just slowly started to turn into this really dull and dreary process. And however, because it first started off by doing laundry, I had to do and separate my laundry and figure out, what was I going to take with me to go up to Chase's house. Because right now the plan is that I'm going to be taking. Oh man, there's so many things I have to reference. So the plan right now is to I'm going. It's the first official day of like spring break, kind of, or not spring break, summer break vacation starts tomorrow, and I'm going up to San Francisco for a week to visit Omi and Grandpa, and I'm going to be staying with them until the 20th, where I will drive up and visit Chase, my best friend, up in California, up in California, up in Grass Valley, and then we're going to be going camping in Tahoe. So going camping in Tahoe, right? So that's what the goal is. And so in order for that to happen, I need to get up there. But in order to get up there, I need to move out. But to move out, I need to check out of my place. And to check out of my place, I need to have all my stuff physically moved out of my place. So that's what I was goal is to do today, was get everything packed up and find a place to send my crud. So as it turns out, I packed up all my. I just started the packing process, and because I had more clothes kind of strewn around my room, and it was quite a mess, I decided that I'd start there and kind of clean up, do laundry, fold all the clothes, figure out what I was going to take with me to go on my little 2 week vacation before coming back, and what I was going to leave. And it turns out that that took so much time. It was like from washing it and folding it, and then while it was washing, organizing and kind of taking things out of the other places just took a lot of time, and I didn't even finish folding laundry until about 10 o'clock at night. And along that way, though, I kind of procrastinated, and I don't know why I do this, but I have the worst freaking habit at picking the calluses at the bottom of my feet. And because I was going through packing up boxes, packing my books up, and one of the things that I noticed was that I kept feeling the callus on the bottom of my foot, and I stopped, and I was messaging some people on OkCupid, and some really interesting conversations that have developed. Would like to talk about how finally operating in accordance to my own values has allowed me to reap allowed me to reap have allowed me to basically reap a larger benefit from my social interactions, both through media and not. But that's for a different conversation. Because what happened was I was sitting there talking to some people, and then I was stopped. And as I stopped, I looked down at my foot, and I felt that I saw that there was a where my callus was, and then there was a ridge where my callus had stopped, and had been kind of had been peeling off naturally. And so I started to pick at it, and I started to gain some traction, and then like a big fold of the callus came off. Not a big fold, but like a fold enough to get a grip. And every time I don't know why, but that just bothered me. So I got my scissors out, and instead of just cutting it off, no, I had to peel it off, pry it off so it came off in a nice tethered way. And by a nice tethered way, it would then leave no rough edges. And I was trying at that, and I spent a good, I'd say, 30 minutes just peeling my calluses off the bottom of my foot. Really gross. but it all stems from this kind of anxiety. Like I feel a relief of anxiety when I do it. So I'm pretty sure at this point I suffer from an anxiety disorder, but I'm not positive because I haven't had any formal diagnosis. But just as self, I've noticed that I am anxious all the time. I mean, I even do stuff like along the lines of peeling calluses off my foot. I chew my fingers. I don't know if you can see that, but like basically it's all just chewed up and just eaten. And I do that as well as that, on my hand, as you can see there in the middle. That's, from chewing and peeling and picking at it. Those are calluses when I was weightlifting earlier in the semester. Not calluses, but blisters that popped, and I just never stopped eating at them. I did it for a while on the right hand too, but luckily I stopped and I've just been on the left hand. It just goes to show that I'm literally like a rat or a dog that when they get anxious or when they get scared, they literally chew on them. They chew on themselves. It's bizarre. And I know I was born in the year of the rat, but this is a little bit extreme. And it's not something that I actively. It's more just like I get so caught up in the moment and so freaked out that I just do whatever I can to make the anxiety go away. Which is another reason why I eat uncontrollably a lot of the time, especially on campus. Like if I'm walking to and from class, I'm so anxious about classes and about the tests and everything that I'll just spend a good 30, 40 minutes walking between stores buying miscellaneous items just to eat and then eating them and going and eating something else. And so that's why I've put on a good amount of weight during this semester is because of my sporadic eating behavior. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I suffer from an anxiety problem. Um, but don't we all? Right? But it's becoming an issue, and it's getting in the way of my ability to be successful. So that's something that needs to be addressed. Anyway, so long story short, like I spent a lot of time procrastinating, picking at my foot, and then I actually peeled the callus back to a point where it tore the flesh and started to bleed, and now it hurts to walk on that foot. So, what was I thinking? The point is, so that's what happened, and progressively made progress. Like progressively made progress. I progressively cleaned the house, cleaned my room, cleaned the bathroom, got everything organized, got everything packed. And because we didn't have, it's 12:30 in the morning on the day after I'm supposed to do this blog, but it's before I've gone to bed, so I wanted to cover it while I was here. And I think so. Now so my room got cleaned. I finished up with the my room got cleaned. I did my laundry. I folded everything, packed everything, except I didn't. So one of the things is I basically got rid of all of the clothes that didn't fit me. I decided, screw this. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not gonna try to hold on to this stuff just because it covers my body, but it doesn't kind of fit me that well. I just decided, screw it. I'm gonna get rid of it. So I got rid of all the clothes that didn't fit me, and I threw them in the corner. And I also got rid of some dirty pillows that I had and some old stuff that I didn't wear anymore, and accumulated this nice massive, no longer useful items for myself, but just because they don't fit me, I'm 6'7", I'm huge. Doesn't mean that they can't fit somebody else. So, but one of the problems is that we ran out of trash bags in the evening because my roommate was also cleaning the house. So now I have to spend tomorrow allocating trash bags and packing boxes to accumulate all my stuff to finalize the packing process. Because while I've been able to I guess you can not really compartmentalize, but pack. Well, I've been able to pack most of the things in my room. There still are a few things that are left out that I wasn't able to get to, and those have to be miscellaneously arranged into to somehow. These miscellaneous objects needs to be arranged to fit into a few boxes. That's what I'm striving to do, and so that's what I'm striving to do tomorrow, and. And so I guess I finished up finished packing up the house, my room, cleaned, everything's laundry. I got a vacuum still. So then I came down and packed up my stuff. So I packed my stuff, but I found a few objects that I wanted to bring down to the lab. Like, let's see here. I wanted to bring down a couple of my desk toys. Little. I'm hoping that this stress ball will help me not chew my hands, but instead work the stress ball when I'm anxious. Um, I had a couple of, so the stress ball was one. Those little shaky, the things that look like they have a whole bunch of nails in them, and then you press your hand against it, and it makes shapes, and it makes the shape of your hand, and you do your face, and all sorts of cool stuff. I brought that down. Also brought my little pen and pencil, pardon me, container down. Brought that down with me as well. And yeah, so I wanted to make my little desk office space nice. So that's what I did. Cleaned up my desk and office space. So I feel better about that too. It was kind of gross, and I felt self-conscious about people walking past it because, as you can see, it's like in the middle of the common area. So if it's going to be seen by people, it's got to be looking sharp. So after I did that, I figured out what I wanted to bring with me on my trip. So I think I'm going to be bringing the Blue Book of Grammar, my Lord of the Rings, my journal. Blue Book of Grammar it was a grammar book recommended to me by the scientific writing. So I'm in the IMSD program, the Initiative for Maximizing Student Development, and part of that is we get tutor help like basically a free person who can help us review and edit any scientific writings that we may have, or non-scientific. I guess you could say persuasive writings, if that's what personal or statements of purpose fall under. But yeah, so reviewing personal purpose statements of purpose, applications, grant proposals, scholarship write-ups, scholarship essays, and publication and graduate school applications are all reviewed by this person. And she recommended this book to me in terms of I asked her what book she would recommend for improving grammar skills, because God, it's just so painful going and having other people just berate your work and tear it apart and say you shouldn't say this. It's like you communicated this idea so eloquently in a way that makes sense when you say it, but in terms of the written word, it's not right, or it's not logical, or it doesn't follow the rules. And so but you feel as though when you change the way it's written, to you it doesn't sound the same, and so then you're not as confident about the bit of work that you've created. And I wanted to get over that, so I decided that I was going to improve my grammar skills by practicing just basic high school, just basic grammar, becoming more aware of the rules and the systems. I mean, I can do math, I can do science, so why not do the algorithm of the written word? So I'm going to bring this book along with me, and I'm going to bring along the Fellowship of the Rings, which I am almost at book 2, almost finished with book 1, like 3-4 pages away from book 2. Not as in like the Return of not as in like the Two Towers, but as in in Fellowship of the Ring. There's book 1 and book 2 inside the Fellowship of the Ring. And then also I'm going to bring the Return of the King along, just because I want to be able to reference my maps of Hobbiton and language and the runes, so I can understand where the hell these people are in this story. Because God, that's like the hardest part. It's a journey, and so he's constantly referencing the geography of Middle Earth, and it is so difficult to understand what's going on. So you have to be, following where in the is that the Shire? Bree, Rivendell. Yeah. You have to constantly be referencing, where are they in the in terms of the roads and everything. So it's very, very complicated. So that's why I wanted to bring this along, so I can have this as a reference. And then my journal. God, I think this journal is just the coolest freaking thing ever. It's like I feel like I'm going to open this up and discover like old tomes of ancient spells or wizardry and sorcery and whatnot. And so I don't know. I really like this journal. I'm going to be buying more of these. I got it from Barnes and Noble. It's really cool. And yeah, and then I got my fountain pen. These were basically my birthday presents to myself. Was this journal, that Blue Book of Grammar, and then I got this wicked Pilot beginner fountain pen, fine tip. It's very pretty. Look at it, very pretty, and it's yeah, it's like stainless steel, super nice and nicely weighted. Has a nice like black band around the middle, as you can see, band. And yeah, I feel very fancy when I write with my fountain pen. I'm hoping it's definitely going to be a change in my handwriting, and I'm hoping to start writing in cursive in my journal. And the plan is, I'm really excited about this plan. So the plan is, I want to take up journaling and writing as a hobby. So, I mean, I think a lot. I'm doing this video blog to articulate my thoughts, but some of the more, deep discussions or existential topics of character and ethics or life and the algorithm of like how to get what you want from it and all that jazz. Those thoughts that I have and the proofs and the analysis of those thoughts and the analyses of various topics such as a book or a passage that I read on the internet or a discussion that someone has had. I want the ability to chronicle those thoughts that are going on inside my head. So I thought it would be a great thing to do would be to take up journalism where I'll talk about it kind of as I am doing now, and then accept into a recorder, then annotate that recording in a digital form on a computer, of course, and then go through using this book of grammar and this other reference guide that I got called the Strunk and White, The Elements of Style. It's pretty much the go-to book of grammar by all professionals these days, and then go through my writing and correct and review and just practice my editing skills on top of that because I want to get good at that for the GRE. Being able to go through and correct my own work and recognize grammatical errors, even when they're ones that I wrote, and practice that. And then after I've practiced and I've created a piece that I am satisfied with in terms of its content and in terms of the way it's expressed, I would like to then publish it by posting it either on social media or as a blog, set up a blog for myself, just post my documents there and have them available for others to read and get input and commentary and get an outside perspective because I really enjoy an additional perspective of someone else that has never read or someone who I hadn't talked to about my own thoughts on the subject before because it really helps it broaden mine and make me aware of things that I might not have considered and or help others realize and read and understand things that they themselves might not have considered. And so it's this mutual exchange of enlightenment that we both get to benefit from. So I really feel as though I'm really excited because I feel like that'd be a really cool thing. And it sounds like a cool idea, but it just takes the action to actually create that as a reality. And that's one of the reasons why I got feel the fear and do it anyways. That very line kind of gives you the essence. And that's something I've identified in all successful people is their ability to go through with a plan or go through with they set their mind to something and they go and they achieve that something regardless of how they felt on the way to get there, whether of course or unless it was a distinct emotion or response that they were conscientiously looking out for if it happened. But for example, if like a dreamer, someone who's a dreamer but then lives their dreams is someone who's not who basically they don't have an ego. They get rid of their ego when they pursue their dreams because they know that in the pursuit of their dreams they will change. And so on that journey, they recognize that there might come a time when they have to do something that they haven't done before, but they know that they want the glory of saying that I said I was going to do that, and I went out and I did it. And so in order to have that sense of accomplishment, you need to overcome some challenges and barriers and personal growth. And part of personal growth means breaking old habits, habits that might be keeping you from naturally living that reality, of that dream that you set for yourself. So that's and part of that's getting over the fear of just getting over the fear of changing, getting over the fear of not knowing what's going to happen, and that's the feel the fear and do it anyway. So that's one of the reasons why I got this book is to read about how this individual, this psychology doctorate, has her own theory on how to do it, and then gives tips and tools on what to do. And I've started it off and so far, and she gives some good points, but I've yet to use those points. I've tried using those points in the moment in which I feel the anxiety about doing something, and the anxiety hasn't alleviated yet, or the ability to overcome that anxiety hasn't necessarily increased. I guess you could say it's increased a small amount, but I haven't been able to feel good about it yet. Of course, I still have to work on my own desire to live without the fear or anxiety of growing. I don't want that. I just want it to be easy. I want everything to be fun and happy, and I don't want to be stressed ever. I hate stress. So my behavior is avoidance behavior of anything stressful. Well, growing up and living your dreams and pushing yourself and challenging yourself is stressful because your body, your mind, your brain, your character's not used to it, and you have to use your intellectual abilities as well as your ethics and just the pure essence of perseverance to get to that goal or to that growth, and that is a stressful process. Some people feel motivated by that stress and that they're what's the word that super interesting person did? They're intrigued by it. And so their curiosity for that feeling and that sensation of the stress continuously places them in environments with that feeling, or they're intrigued about the feeling of going through that stress and coming out on the other side. And as a result, they find themselves living a life full of brilliant happiness, successes in terms of what they personally set out to achieve, and a really fulfilling life in the end is because they are intrigued and fascinated by that sensation of feeling stress and then persevering through it. So that's something that's been on my mind recently. So yeah, and now I'm just gonna figure out how to transport all this stuff because I have a suitcase, a box full of sentimental items of my ex-girlfriend Stephanie, and then some shoes that I want to wear for camping, my toiletries, a neck rest for sleeping on the bus, and then 2 jackets, one raincoat and one just regular water-resistant coat. And I'm thinking, and I also have my books and my pen. I can't forget to bring my pencil. Bring my pencil. Do I want the pencil? Or do I want the pen? No, I kind of feel like I want the pen. Because this is for like the nice writing. My pencil would be for like the scratch work in the book. Oh, I'm so tired. Ah, screw it, I'll just bring the pencil. I can't erase pen. I can erase pencil. Does the same thing. It writes. And so yeah. So and then I'm also going to be bringing my handy dandy little just scratchbook with me to do work on jotting down thoughts, ideas, keeping record of all what's going on in my head. And yeah, so that's the plan. So I'm probably going to carry these. I have a choice between either a backpack or a satchel. I thought that with all these leather items and my fancy pen, and the satchel would be very suave. And I'd pull my satchel out, pull my leather binder out, write my leather binder for my leather satchel and my fountain pen. This has this really cool sound to it. But I don't know if it's practical given my journey. So I'm thinking it might be more practical to bring the backpack. That way I could store some other items in it as well, such as my jackets and my toiletries. Yeah. Then that only leaves me my jackets, my toiletries, and those shoes. Then the only thing that I have to carry and worry about is the box of sentimental items. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. So, I think that pretty much sums up my day. And yeah. Oh, actually, one interesting thing that happened today was I was on OkCupid and I was looking through people on there. And one of the people I stumbled across was your stereotypical, like, drop dead gorgeous person. I'm not going to, but basically your stereotypical beautiful person, pretty person. Makeup, big boobs, worked out a lot, was really fit, had like a great legs, awesome ass. Was that like a front picture was her wearing a hat and like a sports bra, like these awesome tights that defined her, that demonstrated and showed off her curves. And I was like, okay, so yeah, someone who's aware of their looks and goes out and can associate themselves with individuals who are in the same kind of field as them. And then I started reading about who she was, and she's 18 years old, a sophomore at Stanford, double majoring in biomedical engineering, or is it bioengineering? I can't remember. I think it was bioengineering and physics, with a double minor in Chinese and philosophy. And that right there, I'm like, okay, so she's beautiful and she's fucking genius. And then it wasn't just that she was genius and academically inclined; it was that she was also taking action in terms of being an incredible individual. She's really big on increasing the availability of quality education to all walks of life, and had run several missions, not really mission trips like church trips, but several, like she's traveled to developing third world developing countries and reinstating and basically developing their infrastructure. Her words are reinstating or helping to reinstate their infrastructure in developing countries. And that's just awesome. And she's also done an internship at the White House for 3 years in a row. And then she's also a model for fitness organizations and like a beauty company. And so yeah, one of those people. And reading that, I mean, I sent it to my dad. I was like, "Holy crap! Look at this." And he's just like, "Something seems off." He's like, "I wouldn't trust the validity of this profile." You know, I want to say I do trust it just because the way that she wrote communicated a high degree of intelligence. Just I could tell it the words that the way that she wrote and communicated. She was very gifted with the written word. Very, very spectacularly gifted with the written word. Um, Communicated effectively, concisely. She basically was an efficient. She knew how to articulate. She knew how to articulate very well. And but on the same side, if it was real, I just felt so shitty about myself afterwards. I felt like, well, because that's something that I've dreamed of ever since I was young. But I have to really think about, why did I dream of that? I dreamed of that because I wanted to be looked up to by everybody. Um, and that's something that she has. But, I have to recognize that my motives were false. You can't base your life base your life on something strictly for the approval of others. You get approval from others for being who you are, whether they approve of you or not, and you won't get approval from everyone. So, you know, so it's just about going back to that what I decided I was going to do, which is set small goals for myself that I believed I could achieve, and then accomplish those goals one at a time. Simple things, just like what I've done today. Honestly, I feel like today's been a huge success, just in terms of how I haven't stopped working. I haven't procrastinated to the significant extent that I did during the semester, and I made progress. I got things done. I was also able to find a place to put my stuff, and so things are moving forward and looking good. And that's what counts. It's about feeling good about yourself, regardless of what other people are doing with her life. She's developed in sense, and she knows what she can accomplish, and so she's confident in her ability, and so she has less and less fear about moving forward and doing things. And it's because of that she's been able to do so much with her life, if she is a true individual. Um, it's taken me some time to figure out that in myself, and I haven't developed that sense yet because I chose to follow paths that other people defined instead of things that I actually genuinely wanted to do for myself. And as a result, I am 20 years old and now just starting to rediscover myself and build my own confidence and independence and have my own independent character and just establish a sense of self-confidence. So that's what I'm doing, and it starts off slow, but I'm excited. I'm excited for I'm excited to take things easy and to just build it up one step at a time. Because the one thing that I do have in my character that I'm not afraid of is I know that I am determined and I like pushing forward. I like continuously moving forward. I like plodding along. I don't like stopping. I like moving. And it's because of that I know that even though I'm starting off with a very, very small goals, very, very small things, that because I don't like to stop, I'll continue going forward, and those small things will add up to something great. A fortune isn't built by one check. A fortune is built by each penny being added together, and that's the way I'm looking at it. So I guess that kind of sums up what's been on my mind, and yeah, that's the journal for May 12th, 2016/13. I'll try to do one on my Snapchat phone tomorrow, and we'll see what happens. Okay then. Well, Kyle Logan, over and out.